I'm here on a morning walk and I'm going out to see our sheep field. So I thought I would pop on live here for just a few minutes and show everybody the sheep in the field. So I feel like I haven't showed our sheep recently. So if you're interested in seeing the sheep, stay tuned. I'm going to show y'all all the little sheep in the field. Well, they're not so little anymore. They're big sheep now. We're here in Virginia on our homestead. Let me flip the camera around so you can see the sheep. I just came up here to our front field, and these are all of our sheep. So we have our sheep split into two paddocks right now. This is all of our females. So a female sheep is called a ewe. Now all of our ewes are here in their own paddock, and I'll show you the male ram here in a second. He's over in his own spot. They are all munching on some grass right now. So for our sheep, we move them around in an electric poultry netting. This netting is by Premier One, I believe, and it's an electric net. Now, on our fields, we rotationally graze our sheep. So we'll move them onto fresh grass every couple days. Hi to anyone who's joining now. Drop a comment down below if you can see me and if the audio is working all right. I've only ever gone live once before, so I just want to make sure everything's working okay. So I'm here showing our sheep on our farm in Virginia. We have an exterior perimeter fence around this front field here. This is actually a more recent addition to the farm. We just worked on that exterior fence a couple months ago with some help from some friends from church and got that done. So it's a little extra protection against the coyotes here on our homestead. Unfortunately, we do have a lot of coyotes, but thankfully we have never had, hello modular yapper natural roots and little doughboy. I'm here showing all of our sheep this morning. Can everyone hear me okay? I was just going to talk about the sheep for a few minutes. Okay, everything's working well? Okay, great. I'm glad that it's all working good. So I was just talking, we just finished this electric exterior perimeter fence, and it goes all the way around this big front field. And this front field is all powered by this solar panel charger. So this is basically a little solar panel, and it runs the wires down and they attach to the fence. You can see that clip there, and it powers all of these strands of netting. And then, so this rope line is the exterior fence, and this netting is the interior fence. And then we move the sheep in these little paddocks around the field so that they get fresh grass. Here's one of our mamas right here. So, any guard dogs for coyotes? We are in the process of trying to find a livestock guardian dog. Right now, the electric fence is our only precaution. The hope is to get one, but we don't want to get just any livestock guardian dog. We hopefully want to find one with good genetics that comes from a line of other dogs that have worked with sheep as well. My husband Ryan's pretty particular about what kind he wants, so he's on the lookout for that. That is something we're planning on getting in the future. So our females are in this one paddock here, and our ram is over there. Let me walk over here and I'll show you our ram. Now, we're keeping them separated because we want to control when they have their babies. So David asked, what is your long-term goal with a sheep? So we use our sheep for meat. The breed of sheep that we're raising is called Katahdin sheep. They are actually a hair breed of sheep, so they don't produce wool, and we are using them for meat to feed our family. This is our ram here. He is in his own little paddock right next to all the females over here. Most of them are hiding behind that shelter there. But as you can see, he's a lot bigger than the other ones. And he also has some hair on his neck. David said, sounds delicious. Yes, lamb meat is really yummy. I personally like it even more than beef steak. I know Costco sells lamb meat, or you can find a local farmer if you want to try some. I personally really like the lamb chops, and I'll grill them up with some rosemary and thyme and like a cast iron skillet. They're good. We definitely love our sheep, and we want to give any animal on our farm the best life it can have, but our animals do serve a purpose. Our animals are meant to feed our family and also educate our kids so that they have, a chance to see where their food comes from, and also take a hand in taking care of animals. I think it teaches good responsibility. So that's one of the reasons we keep animals. Yeah, it's a good thing the sheep can't hear me. Well, I mean, I think they know, but they're living a good life. They're definitely living the best life they can live versus, a commercial sheep farmer maybe isn't giving them fresh grass every day like we are. Sarah, the homesteading hustle, said ground lamb meatballs with tzatziki is a bomb. Yes, that is so good, especially if you make some a fresh naan to go with it. It's so yummy. All right, I'm just reading back through the comments here. Sarah, the homesteading hustle, says we plan to switch to Katahdin in the next few years. I don't use our wool like I thought I would. Yeah, I definitely recommend the Katahdin brand. We've been very happy with it so far. The Katahdin sheep, for those of y'all who may be just joining, are a hair breed of sheep, and you don't have to shear them to take the wool off of their coat like you do for a wool sheep. So they shed naturally, and it's just one less step that we have to take care of. And there really isn't the market for wool here in America that there may be elsewhere. So you can't really get any money for selling the wool, at least not that we've researched, but we haven't actually tried that before. We've just only ever done the Katahdin sheep. Aquila says, I'm vegan. Yeah, I respect that. If you're vegan, that's wonderful. I personally enjoy meat and the extra protein feeding our family. So this may not be the video for you, but we still love our animals, and we definitely take care of them and raise them with the best life they can have, but they do serve a purpose on our farm for our family. Modular Yapper asked, how long does it take y'all to rotate the sheep? So it really doesn't take that long. I'd say it takes, I don't know, between 5 minutes to an hour. It kind of depends. So we have this exterior perimeter fence, and for the rotation, we just move around this netting. And you can see it's in a rectangle shape here. And most of the time, my husband will set up another rectangular fence. And so all he has to do is open it up and let them through and drag in their little shelter house. And then we also have this black water tank here. And the water tank we fill up with this big tub of water. So this is just like an ICB tote that we purchased off Facebook Marketplace. I want to say it was maybe $50. And down here at the bottom, there is a handle on and off with a hose adapter. And then it just gravity feeds with the hose into their water tank. And then we move this tank. It's on a trailer, which actually the trailer is a more recent addition. It has just been lifted manually onto the back of the truck and then driven back and forth with the truck. The trailer is a recent addition so that we could leave it down here. We actually just got this trailer last weekend. The trailer hooks up to the truck, and we take the tank up to the house, and we fill up the water tank with water from our well up at our house, and then bring it down here to feed up the individual water troughs. So on the top, there's like a screw cap that you could put a hose in to fill it up from the top. So it's really handy. This tank, I think, was used for some sort of food product. They do sell these oftentimes reused on Facebook Marketplace. That's where we got ours. Again, I think it was like $50. But some of them are used for chemicals and some of them are used for food. So if you're planning on getting one, I'd recommend getting one that was used for food instead of chemicals, because I don't really think the chemicals can be fully washed out of there like they should be. Anyway, I went off on a tangent. Back to how long does it take us to rotationally graze all of our sheep? So if the fence is set up, I just shocked myself. If the fence is set up, it takes 5 minutes to open the fence. pull in the house, pull in the water, and that's a mineral trough with some different selective minerals, and then they're good to go. I'd say it takes about an hour to fully set up 2 of these rectangular paddocks. And they stay in here for anywhere from 4 days to about a week. It just depends on how fast they eat the grass. We move them to hopefully reduce parasite pressure load on them because they're always on fresh grass, and also so they don't eat down any one part of the field too quickly. And that way they're also eating the weeds. They're not just selectively grazing the really yummy grass in the field. They're eating everything. And also, it just helps us keep an eye on them and keep them better contained. And our theory is also to help with coyote pressure because we do have a lot of coyotes here on our farm. Now, anyway, hope that answers your question about how long it takes. David asked, how many acres is required for the sheep you have? I mean, it really just depends on how many sheep you have. Now, sheep are not like a solitary breed. I would definitely recommend getting at least 3 probably so that they have some friends. The sheep need some company. I feel like they don't like to be alone by themselves. Now, my dog's barking. I'm not sure what he's barking at. I'd say if you just have 3, you really don't need that much space. You could easily rotate them on half an acre. It also just depends on how your field grass is and if you have enough grass. You technically don't even need to feed them fresh grass. You could feed them some hay, and you can buy supplemental feed as well. Now, we have a lot here. Oh, I'm not sure how many sheep we have in this field. Let's see. 2, 4, 6. Wait, I lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I think we have 17 or 18 females in this paddock, and then our rams right there. Oh, no, there's another one right there. Okay, so maybe 18? I'm not even honestly sure. We sold a couple the other weekend. We sold our other guys, the rams, the male sheep, so that we would just keep the females because we don't want these mamas' baby boys to back breed to themselves or to their sisters because that wouldn't be good genetics. Jacob said lamb is one of the tastiest meats. Yes, I agree. I love lamb. One of the reasons we got lamb is because we really like the flavor and we wanted to be able to feed our family fresh lamb that we raised ourselves. One of my favorite ways to cook lamb chops, grilled in like a cast iron skillet with some rosemary and thyme and a little butter. So good. Natural Root says, I'm so excited to see you on a live. Oh, well, thank you. I don't do them very often because normally I've got all the kids with me and I don't really put my kids on social media, but I figured I'd hop out here today because it's a beautiful morning. Sarah of the Homesteading Hustle said, exactly, wool is not worth the work, in my opinion, and now we have had them for 4 years and no return. I like your setup. Thanks, Sarah. Yeah, it definitely seems like a lot of work, and the less work we have to do to get the best reward is a bonus. Modular Yapper said, have you harvested any of your own sheep yet? No, we haven't. This fall will actually be the first time. So we are focusing right now on building our flock. So all of our females, their babies that they had that were girls, which like 99% of all of our babies dropped last spring were females. We wanted to keep all those females so that we can then build our flock and have more babies this coming spring. So we started out with about half this herd last year, and it's doubled because they all had babies in the spring. And we did have a boy, but we actually sold him as some breeding stock to a friend at church because he looked really big and very genetically perfect, and we didn't feel comfortable eating him. We didn't feel like that was the best route for his life to live. So we sold him as breeding stock to one of our friends so that she can then breed her own sheep this fall. Yeah, good question though. We have harvested our goats though. Now, I think I mentioned at the beginning of this live. Maybe I didn't. My brain does not work completely. But We have sold our goat herd, actually. We did eat a couple of our goats before we sold it, but we sold our goat herd and we're focusing primarily on sheep now. The sheep are my husband's favorite. He likes being a shepherd, and so that's one of the reasons we are focusing primarily on sheep. And it's just one less thing for us to move around because we can move them all around together. Dave asked, how extensive is your homesteading? Also, I think it's great that you respect your children's privacy making content. Thanks. Yeah, I just don't feel comfortable sharing my children on social media. I have kids and I love them dearly and I'm absolutely obsessed with them, and my camera roll is completely filled with pictures of my kids. You should see how crazy I am when I take how many pictures I take of them. But I don't ever share them online because, I don't know, you just never know. Our homestead is right now primarily sheep and chickens and the garden. So our sheep are here in the front field, but we do move them around. We do have some other fields across our property. The most primarily biggest portion of our farm is woods. We are in the process of making some of our woods into more fields. Now, that is a slow process for anyone who's ever done that, then you know. And it'll probably take some time, but that's one of our goals, is to make a little bit more fields so that we can have even more sheep in the future. My husband would really like to get into selling lamb meat for others, not just for our family as well. Right now, this flock is primarily going to be used for our family and for just like close family and friends who maybe want to buy half a lamb, whole lamb in the future for their freezer, but nothing like extensive yet. But in the future, perhaps that's somewhere we may do, something we may do. Sarah said, I wanted to keep our kids private, but I can't film without them around. Great job doing that, Cara. Yeah, it's definitely a challenge, Sarah. I mean, they're in most of my videos when I'm filming them because normally they're right beside me, but I edit out that portion of the video typically. I also put my eldest on filming duty sometimes, and he loves it. He loves playing with the camera and filming some of my garden videos. So if you ever watch some of my like garden harvesting videos and you see the camera kind of bouncing a little bit, that may be because a toddler filmed it, which is very impressive. I'm very impressed with his filming skill. But yeah, it definitely is a challenge. And I completely understand if you can't always make it work. Modular Yapper asked, when you had goats, did you ever make goat cheese, or were they just for meat? So they were just for meat. So the breed of goats we had was called Boer, Boer, I think that's how you spell it. And we primarily purchased them to clear land. So we set them up along our tree line. So for instance, this is our front field. We have a row of trees here, and then there's another field down there. And the goats would be set up in this electric kind of netting around different areas of the tree line, and they would clear out all the poison ivy and all that junk. And back in our woods where we're trying to create more fields for our livestock, we also had them set up back there a little bit to clear some of that land. They did a great job clearing the land, and I really enjoyed having goats, and I probably will definitely have goats again in the future. Maybe just not in this season of life when I have so many little kids underfoot. We figured we'd focus on one big four-legged herd of animal right now instead of two different breeds, because they're two different setups. We kept them separated. And I did milk the goats a couple times, but we didn't drink the milk or make cheese. I just milked them in order to put the milk in the bottle for a baby that had been rejected. And so then I used the milk to feed that baby. Because we did lamb is lambing sheep. We did kid our goats last spring, so they had a bunch of babies. Homesteading Hustle said, spring feast days are a great time to sell lamb meat, Passover particularly. Yeah, I plan on doing that in the future. My husband and I would love to do that and sell to other people. We have a friend who also raises sheep, and they have a rabbi who blesses the sheep, so they're kosher, and that may be something we look into in the future as well. David asked, do you have any plans to raise cattle or chickens? We actually have a ton of chickens. The chickens are just in one of our other fields. It would be about I don't know, 15-minute walk away from here. But the chickens, we do meat birds, and we also have layer hens. The chickens, we also rotationally graze in a poultry net, and then we also have a house that we move around. We have a video on our YouTube channel of a couple of the different chicken structures we've built. We've built, oh goodness, probably 3 of them now. Yes, Spiky000 said we are on a farm. So these are our sheep behind us, Spiky000. We have catotted sheep, and we also have chickens, and we have a really big garden. The chickens, we have a couple different breeds of chickens. So in the past, we have raised Cornish cross chickens, which is, or jumbo Cornish cross chickens to be specific, which is a type of meat bird that you can order from as a baby chick from a hatchery. But they kind of die when they get to, I don't know, like 10 weeks old. They're genetically bred in such a way that they get huge, they get round, and really big in about 8-9 weeks. And that's great for processing, but it's not really sustainable. So this year is actually the first year we switched our meat bird breed. We switched over to Bresse, B-R-E-S-S-E, I believe is how you spell it. Don't quote me on that though. And that breed of chicken is also used as a meat bird. You can raise it for meat, but it's a dual purpose bird. So it can be kept long term. It doesn't just die from a heart attack at 10 weeks like a Cornish cross will. And it can be what's my word I'm looking for? You could take those eggs and incubate them and then hatch out your own meat bird chicks versus always ordering from a hatchery. So for the Cornish cross, we've done them the last 4 years, I think. And every time we've done Cornish cross, we've had to order in those chicks from a hatchery. And that just is kind of another expense we wanted to hopefully eliminate. And so we switched over to the Bresse chick, and we actually just butchered our Bresse chicks for the first time. Not chicks, they're full grown. Our extra roosters a couple weeks ago. So time will tell. I want to sample a few more of the birds from the freezer to see how I like the texture and cooking them up before I give a full opinion on that breed on whether or not I recommend it. Modular Yapper asked, what livestock guardian dog breeds are your husband considering? So he is looking at those really big white fluffy ones. Livestock guardian dogs. What are they called? I'm drawing a blank. I think Sarah has some. Sarah, what's the breed of dog called? Why is my brain not working? They're the really, really big white fluffy livestock guardian dogs that are traditionally used for sheep and other livestock. Natural Roof says, off to work. I enjoyed your live. Take care. Thanks for joining. I appreciate you stopping in and commenting. Great Pyrenees. That's it. Yes. Thank you, Modular Yapper. Yeah, that's what we're considering. Thank you, David. I appreciate the kind comment and joining the live. Spiky000 says, my grandpa used to own a farm. Had a lot of fun growing up with him. Good old days. Yeah, it's a great way to be raised and grow up. That's one of the reasons we started a farm, is so that our kids could have, you know, the best childhood I could give them. And I grew up on a farm. I grew up with animals, and I wanted my kids to have that same experience of taking care of animals and knowing where their food comes from. That's a good breed for herding sheep. Yeah, so Great Pyrenees was what we were after, Sarah. That's what he's looking at, I'm pretty sure. All right, well, I appreciate everyone joining the live. I am going to continue doing all my chores this morning and walking around, but I'm going to go ahead and sign off now. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate everyone's comments. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to our channel. We have lots of videos on our channel about homesteading and gardening and sheep and chickens and all that good stuff. All right, I hope y'all have a good day. Bye, y'all.